Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. It's freezing in Johannesburg. It's just so cold. I've got a hot water bottle just warming my toes. It's so cold. We have an emperor at the center of the reading. This is clarified by the Page of Cups. Okay, so when I first laid out the emperor card, what was coming to mind were thoughts around who is the emperor? Is it you? Is it someone else? They're definitely feeling empowered, but almost like, what do they think of themselves? How do they regard themselves? Okay. And this Page of Cups feels to me like this person, you that I'm speaking to, you are currently comparing yourself to the energy and sort of identity of an emperor, actually asking yourself whether it's too soon to consider yourself as being in this energy or whether you actually are in this energy. And bearing in mind, it's a mindset. It's a mindset of empowerment, of feeling like you own your territory mentally. Okay. It can also mean physically, but very much mentally. That means that nobody is currently telling you who you are. And even when they do, you're not triggered by it. You're literally, protective, but not overly so. It just washes past you. But you're wondering whether this is where you are. Okay. And this is based on information you've gathered about how you're currently approaching life. And you're actually asking yourself this, I see this here, you're asking yourself this because you want to know whether you can bank on yourself. And I said bank on yourself before I actually saw this little piggy, okay? And this piggy is flying and it's over this cup, but it reminds me of a piggy bank, except instead of this having anything to do with money here, you've got this cup of love. And so you're kind of living via love. It feels very much to me, and feeling empowered, but really asking whether you can bank on yourself. And so this is not overpowering thoughts that you're having of questioning yourself, but you're really wondering if you're here now. You see, I've got here in the area of what's crossing you, the Three of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. And so this is like the idea of some kind of transformation coming in and that you are waiting for it. And so I see you here spending quite a lot of time waiting for some kind of penny to drop, waiting for a particular type of moment, one that you actually can't even describe it clearly. Okay. So perhaps this is happening quite a lot in your daydreaming, all of that. Okay. And so that's currently sort of what's preventing you from fully grasping this energy that you're already embodying. Okay. Because you're waiting for some form of, something, some penny to drop, some aha moment that's going to come and tell you, yes, you're the emperor. Okay, and I think it's important to remember that it's in embodying an energy that we become it. It's not in any type of evidence that we are that. It's this internal style of evidence where you are acting that way, you are feeling that way, and you're behaving that way, and you're sort of just showing up that way. Okay, and you're also not feeling sort of deluded. You're not telling yourself something that is not real. In your recent past, I have the World clarified by the Hermit. And just underneath the deck, as I was shuffling, I also saw the Eight of Cups and the Six of Swords, which is departure energy. It is transition energy. It's energy to say that you've spent a lot of your time in hiding, in hermit, okay, processing a lot, a hell of a lot of healing over an extended period. I see this a lot from the greens in both of these cards, but you've just closed on the cycle in a way that you've never really closed on hermiting before. I don't see this as complete closure in terms of hermit. I still see that there's a hermit within you. I see that. And I believe that that is the healer in you. Okay. But as far as your work, how you show up in the world, how you regard yourself, no one is telling your story other than you right now. Okay. I very much get that sense. Okay. And I feel like you're not just trying on these shoes. You're sort of walking the walk, talking the talk. You're kind of there, and also not needing to prove that to anyone. The only person you've ever needed to prove that to is yourself. Okay. And it's allowing you to approach everything that you do differently. I'm finding you less apologetic to your audience. And when I use the word audience, I'm not talking to, let's say, all of you. Audience is a word. I often use this word when I'm talking about whoever is listening or watching what you're doing, your customers, whatever it is. It could be your family. It could be anyone who's watching. There's something else that occurs to me when I think of Emperor energy, and it's got to do with how people demand your resources from you, your time, your energy, everything, your expertise, whatever it is. I'm finding you less apologetic when it comes to that. You're much more protective. And not like in a overly defensive way. Literally, you are just mindful of the fact that these are resources that you've gathered. Okay. And so you are honoring your own energy and honoring your resources. At the top of mind, I have the 7 of Wands and the Death card. I'm going to pull one more card, but the 7 of Wands feels like someone who's completely aware that they are going through a major shift. It's as though you can feel it physically, energetically. You feel different, and you can feel that you're shifting, you're going through an upgrade, and so you're receiving something, but with great discomfort. It feels like you can feel stuff is renewing, and you can feel stuff is dying, but you've got to keep it moving, and so you're handling it incredibly well, but you're completely aware that you're receiving something. And there's also the sense that you know where you're headed, but you don't know where you're headed. Okay. You know you're going there, but you don't know where you're going. Exactly like that. And there's the clarity card, the 6 of Pentacles. And so this is what's telling me that there is a lot going on. And usually the 6 of Pentacles has this man who is, has on either side sort of deciding which side to share his resources. There's a lot going on. On another deck, the 6 of Pentacles is, has generosity written on it. And so this for me feels like this is a lot of the energy that's going into the death, and a lot of energy that's going into what's new and what's being birthed. And so there is a hell of a lot going on, and you're just receiving and moving through it. I almost want to say trying to stay strong as you move through it. Okay. And what's helping you to stay strong is the awareness of this stage that you're moving through. In your subconscious, I have the 9 of Swords, which speaks to me around these subconscious fears that are sort of brewing underneath. And this has got to do with this being a new beginning. This has got to be with the fact that you actually don't know where you're headed, but you know where you're headed. So what they want to say to you about this subtle fear that is making you question your energy and, your identity, and whether you are done embodying this identity. Okay. And I'd like to say that you are not done, and I don't know whether you ever are, but you are in it, and you are, you're kind of healing into it and receiving it. You're in the process of it. And I don't know if this process is ever complete, is what I mean. But they're saying you have no real reason to have fear. However, we don't want to dismiss your fear, because your fear is valid, if this makes sense. Your fear is valid because you are headed into the unknown. Your fear is valid because it is also, fear itself is an energy that we transmute and we turn it into something. Okay, we turn it into courage. We turn it into trust. We turn it into resolve. There are all these things. And so they're saying they don't want to brush it aside as if you need to be hard and not have any fear, but they're saying allow it to build your trust, okay? Because as much as your fear is valid, you have no real reason to have fear other than you are moving through a new phase. You've just completed a huge major cycle in your life, and you can feel that other things in you are dying. And so all of these feelings are very unsettling. Okay, and so they're saying it's a new start. You've departed from the familiar place. You headed into a new place. You're in the middle of the transition, and you're kind of getting used to being in the skin. There's something else going on here. If you look at the World card, she's kind of like, you know, next to the Hermit, she's kind of in this protective, you know, circle, this ring. I wanted to say bubble. But then look at it against the Fool card where there's no bubble and she's free falling. And so I feel like when we look at the idea that you are healing, right? You used to be in this protective bubble, whereas now you've left the sort of hermit phase. You are showing up. You're kind of exposed and out in the open. Okay. And you're not inclined to retreat. Your plan is not to retreat. And so whatever emotions you experience and whatever fears you experience and what you go through, unlike before, those are not going to result in a retreat. And I felt this when I was starting to shuffle. There's this different kind of level of self-acceptance that's taken place, which has been a huge shift. Okay, you're just being, you're owning your right to be. Okay, and you're not expecting perfection out of yourself. Okay, there are a whole lot of things that used to sort of prevent you from consistently showing up as you. And so that's also in the process of sort of being born in you and dying in you. It's this new space where usually if you were feeling some kind of way, you'd have reasons why you need to retreat, you know, and you're not doing that. And so there's this sense that you're kind of like this grown emperor, but also a newborn baby at the same time. It feels like that. In your near future, I have the Knight of Cups with the King of Cups and Justice. And so this is telling me that something rather enticing is going to be entering into your life, an offering of love and care. That's how it's going to make you feel. It's going to make you feel loved, and it's going to make you feel cared for, and bring a type of balance to your life that currently you do not feel you experience on a consistent basis. In your advice, I have the Seven of Cups, and this is already telling me, they're saying, in preparation for this offering that's coming in, and as a manifester, allow yourself to daydream. You've been daydreaming lately. They're saying, allow yourself to consider now, not necessarily decide, what it is you'd like to come into your life. I believe you have a wish list, and it is this wish list that the Emperor is playing with. You know, the Emperor's like, is this possible? Could I do this? Can I do this? They're saying, decide what you want. Think about it, because it's possible and something's coming in. And so become part of its design is sort of what they're saying to me. And I see the 7 here with the 7 of Wands at the top. And that's where we were talking about the fact that you're in the process of receiving something. And this Cups ties in with the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups and the Page of Cups that are all next to each other. Okay, and so they're saying the 7 of Wands, yes, is transformative energy. There's something coming in and you can feel it, and there's a lot, okay? And they're saying, be part of its design, okay? Exactly. Think of the things that are missing currently that make you uncomfortable, the things that would make your life easier, the things that you've been thinking would make your life better. They're saying it's not crazy. Okay, so they just want you to start focusing down. They want you to use your vision. Okay, you're a magician. So they want you to start picturing those things and their possibility. And they're saying, again, don't get too sucked into that can I do it energy. Come back to the energies that allowed you sort of to embody this emperor within you, okay, and continue. But in your daydreaming, they're saying, create, draw the stuff, okay, make it clearer what is possible. And there you have it. For clarity, I got the Lovers and the Empress. And this is that energy. This is like, the Empress goes with the Emperor. And so you think to yourself, what would the Emperor do for the Empress? There is nothing that the Emperor would not do for the Empress. And so you need to think about that, your perfect conditions, what would make you feel loved and cared for. This is in the Lovers for me. And this is also speaking about the fact that you have a choice in this matter. And so they're saying, daydream, choose, and do not sell yourself short in terms of what you already have realized you are capable of. As I was shuffling, 2 cards popped out at me. That was the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Wands. And they didn't come out completely, so I'm still shuffling. But the message that these cards were sharing is, remember that being an emperor does not mean you are burden free. Okay? An emperor has his fair share of burdens, the things that he is concerned about, the things that he keeps a keen eye on. Okay? To make sure, for purposes of protection and security and all of that stuff and sustainability. And so don't think that just because you are burdened by something that means you are not in the energy of an emperor. It's also how an emperor grows his empire, okay, through transmuting these burdens and turning them into something else. And so that's why I've seen these cards together, the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Wands, is that you can feel completely loved and cared for and have burdens at the same time. It's not either or. We don't necessarily have to move from the 10 of Swords and the 10 of Wands all the way across to the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups. You literally can be an emperor in any of these energies. If it's for a prolonged period and you're never transmuting them, perhaps not, but that is not you. You are here, right in the middle as the emperor. You've got stuff coming in that's going to make you feel balanced out. You get to choose what it is you want to come into your life. You're just being asked to get clear on that, and also to just believe that you are embodying this energy and not to think yourself crazy for thinking it. Okay, and to think that you are in this like high absorption stage of like absorbing your new reality and sort of also absorbing your current reality and sort of allowing all this old stagnant stuff to exit your body, which is bringing up its fair share of grief, I will say. I can feel the grief throughout this reading. I can feel the stuff that's dying. But I can also feel your sense of feeling strong enough to continue. Knowing that you're not going backwards, understanding the purpose, the role of grief as you heal. They're saying, how can somebody be so raw and so strong at the same time? In your surrounding factors, I have the 3 of Swords with the Ace of Wands and the Hierophant. These cards are speaking about grief for purposes of ascension and expansion. Okay, and I'm saying ascension because you are moving deeper within yourself and higher, of yourself. I don't know if I worded that in the best way, but higher into yourself and deeper into yourself in general, in your life. Okay, this is a big phase of your life that you're moving through, and this grief is coming in to bring healing. Look at the Ace of Wands, and you don't usually see that because it's a card of like passion and energy moving, and it's come here to heal. Look under her eye, she's got this sort of bluish, it looks like sort of tears, but it's not teardrops as such. It looks like clouds. It's got air energy. It's not water, but it's blue like tears, but it's like air energy. And it's telling me like the things that she sometimes thinks of bring tears to her eyes. But it's this energy that's moving through you to bring balance into your life. I can very much see that there's a purpose for this grief you're moving through. All of it. This is healing energy. Okay, you feel to me like you're in a workshop and expected to work at the same time. And while I'm saying that, I can also tell that there's nowhere else that you'd rather be. In the area of what you want the most and fear the most, I have the Two of Cups and the Five of Swords in reverse. And so what I'm seeing here is that what you're wanting is just for things to come together, to feel like you are worry-free, to not have these things that cause you like, what's mental heartache? Does that exist? It feels like things that sit on your heart and that you try to have your mind resolve, and therefore these things go nowhere. They don't go anywhere. Okay? And they just give you a headache, figuratively speaking, not a literal headache. And what they're saying is return to your advice. You are quite clear about what these conditions look like. You've already figured it out. And so they're saying don't discount your ability to obtain these things and to achieve these things. Okay, so this reading has mainly been about, again, not discounting yourself and embodying the energy, this question you've been asking yourself, like, can I do this? Am I powerful enough to do this? Do I have the endurance? You've got it all, is what they're saying. You've got it all. It's just hard to believe because, nobody kind of gives you the signs to say when you're here. In your outcome, I have the Knight of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. Okay, and for some reason, the way those two cards sound similar, but they're not. It's like you're going to be enjoying this steady sense of growth as you build. Okay, sometimes you won't be clear whether you are growing simply or just building simply. It'll be unclear, but you're going to be enjoying the experience and the opportunity and really embracing that, the opportunity to be where you are and to be able to achieve all of this while feeling connected to your heart. I'm going to leave this reading here. I was just thinking, I forgot to ask you all to like the video. Please, will you do that if you haven't? Thank you all so much for being here with me through these readings. I appreciate your presence so much more than I can express. Here's an interesting fact or observation I just want to share. It occurred to me now. You know that when I record readings, videos here on YouTube, I have a kind of different voice to the voice I normally use when I'm speaking to people. So like if I'm in a serious meeting, let's say more to do with, let's call it work, I have a specific way of talking. And then I have the way of talking here when I'm sitting in energy and awareness of energy. And then I have a voice that I use, let's say when I'm on a phone call with a friend, completely different. And the other day I asked myself, am I like different people? Is this something I'm struggling with or not? And then I was listening to a reading and this woman was reading cards and she actually explained, I interpreted this reading my own way, but she actually explained a person who, when they're interacting with a particular energy, there's actually a difference. And so what I'm reminded of is something I encountered very early days on pyramid energy, because that difference that I'm talking about, because I wasn't used to pyramid energy, that difference used to freak me out. I just felt like pyramid energy was so large. I felt like it was so big. I was scared of it. I was so scared of pyramid energy. I don't know. When I say pyramid energy, it's even hard for me to explain what I mean. But I just thought I'd share that. I'd just share that how I am here is very special to me because it is unique to my life. It is unique in my life. There is no other place that I am like this in. And so thank you to all of you. So much love to you all.